What if I told you there's a device sitting in a lab right now that could power your entire home without ever plugging into the grid, without solar panels, without batteries that need charging, and without burning a single drop of fuel? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, thousands of people around the world have been frantically searching for exactly that. And they all want to know one thing: where on earth can they actually buy it? Here's the thing. This isn't some fantasy gadget dreamed up by Hollywood writers. We're talking about a real invention that's been demonstrated, tested, and showcased multiple times. The device has a name. It's called the MSED, and the man behind it is a Zimbabwean inventor named Maxwell Chikumbutso. And if even half of what's been claimed about this technology is true, we might be standing at the edge of the biggest energy revolution in human history. But here's where things get complicated. Despite all the buzz, despite the videos you've probably seen online, and despite the endless forum discussions debating whether this thing is legit or not, almost nobody seems to know how to actually get their hands on one. Some people claim it's being hidden. Others say it's stuck in red tape. And then there are those who insist you can order one right now if you just know where to look. So today, we're cutting through all the noise. We're going to dig into the real story behind this device, figure out what's actually available right now, and most importantly, reveal the only legitimate way you could potentially acquire one. Because trust me, if you're not careful, you could easily get scammed by people trying to cash in on the hype. Ready? Let's dive in. Now, before we talk about availability, we need to understand what we're actually dealing with here. Maxwell Chikumbutso isn't just some random guy who woke up one day claiming to have invented free energy. This man has been challenging conventional science for years, and he's done it in ways that have left even skeptics scratching their heads. Born and raised in Zimbabwe, Maxwell didn't follow the traditional path of a university-trained engineer. Instead, he's what you might call a self-taught visionary. Someone who looks at problems differently and refuses to accept the limitations that everyone else takes for granted. Over the years, he's introduced the world to a series of inventions that sound almost too good to be true. We're talking about a car that supposedly runs without any fuel whatsoever, a helicopter powered by electromagnetic forces instead of traditional combustion engines, and at the center of it all sits the MSED, the micronic self-energizing device that many believe is the secret sauce powering everything else he's created. So what exactly is this device? According to Maxwell and his team at Saith Technologies, the MSED works by harvesting electromagnetic energy and radio frequency waves from the surrounding environment. Think of it like this. Right now, as you're watching this video, you're surrounded by invisible waves of energy. Radio signals, Wi-Fi, cellular data, electromagnetic fields from power lines, and electronics. All of that energy is just floating around us constantly, completely untapped. The MSED allegedly captures those frequencies and converts them into usable electricity. No fuel tank to refill. No solar panels that only work when the sun's shining. No battery pack that dies after a few hours. Just continuous, self-sustaining power pulled straight from the air around you. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds absolutely insane. And you're not wrong to be skeptical. The concept flies in the face of what mainstream physics has taught us about energy conservation. Scientists have long insisted that you can't create more energy than you put into a system, and that perpetual motion machines are impossible. Yet, here's Maxwell, demonstrating devices that appear to do exactly that. And that's precisely why this whole story has become so controversial and so fascinating. For nearly 10 years, videos have been circulating online showing the MSED in action. Television sets powering up without being plugged in. Generators running indefinitely. Even electric vehicles cruising down the road with no traditional battery or charging port. Each new clip sends shockwaves through online communities, with people debating whether what they're seeing is real or just clever editing and staged demonstrations. The skeptics say it's impossible, that the laws of thermodynamics can't be broken, and that there must be some hidden power source we're not seeing. The believers point to the consistency of the demonstrations and ask why someone would spend years building an elaborate hoax without any obvious financial payoff. And caught in the middle are thousands of ordinary people who just want to know if this technology could actually help them, especially those living in parts of the world where reliable electricity is a luxury rather than a given. Think about it for a second. There are entire communities across Africa, Asia, and other developing regions where people go days or even weeks without power. Businesses can't operate. Kids can't study after dark. Hospitals struggle to keep medicine refrigerated. If the MSED truly works as advertised, it could be the ultimate game changer for these populations. No need to wait decades for governments to extend power grids. No need for expensive solar installations. Just plug in a device the size of a small generator, and suddenly you have reliable, continuous electricity. That potential is exactly why anticipation has reached such a fever pitch. For years, the same question has echoed across social media platforms, YouTube comment sections, and energy discussion forums. When can we actually buy this thing? People have been asking Maxwell directly. They've been reaching out to Saith Technologies. They've been scouring the internet for any sign of a pre-order page or distributor. And, for the longest time, they've been met with silence or vague promises that commercialization is coming soon. This silence has created a vacuum of information, and you know what happens when information is scarce. Speculation and conspiracy theories rush in to fill the void. Some people started claiming that big oil companies were suppressing the technology. Others insisted that governments were blocking its release because it would destabilize the entire energy industry. And then there were those who swore they'd seen the device for sale on certain websites or through private dealers. But here's the truth that nobody was clearly stating until recently. For most of the past decade, the MSED has existed primarily as a prototype technology undergoing research and limited demonstration. Saith Technologies wasn't hiding it or being blocked by shadowy forces. They were simply doing what any responsible tech company does with revolutionary new technology: testing it, refining it, and making sure it actually works reliably before trying to mass produce it. Think about it this way. When a pharmaceutical company discovers a promising new drug, they don't immediately start selling it to the public. They spend years in clinical trials, testing safety, studying side effects, and proving effectiveness. The same principle applies here. Maxwell and his team weren't going to flood the market with devices that might fail or cause problems just because people were excited. They needed time to perfect the technology. But as we move through 2025, something fundamental has shifted. The long silence is finally breaking, and we're starting to get concrete information about the MSED's path to availability. Multiple verified sources now confirm that the device has entered what's called limited access commercialization. Now, that's industry jargon, so let me translate it into plain English for you. Limited access commercialization means the technology is no longer locked away in a private lab. It's starting to move into the real world, but in a controlled, strategic way rather than through a full public launch. Instead of suddenly appearing on store shelves or e-commerce websites, the MSED is being distributed to carefully selected partners first. We're talking about universities conducting energy research, government agencies exploring clean power solutions, private companies that have signed partnership agreements with Saith Technologies. These organizations are getting early access to test the technology in real-world conditions. Why take this approach? Simple. It allows Maxwell's team to gather data, identify any issues, and build credibility through verified institutional use before opening the floodgates to general consumers. It's the smart way to launch a technology this disruptive, even if it frustrates eager individuals who want one right now. Maxwell himself addressed this during one of his recent tech updates in 2025. He made it clear that while the MSED is absolutely real and functional, it's not yet sitting on retail shelves waiting for you to purchase. What is available, however, is an official pathway for interested parties to register their interest and potentially gain access through proper channels. So here's where we get to the critical question that brought you to this video. If you genuinely want to acquire an MSED, where do you actually go? What's the legitimate process? First, and most importantly, let me tell you where not to go. As excitement about this technology has grown, so has the number of scams trying to exploit that enthusiasm. We're seeing fake websites pop up left and right, claiming to sell MSED units or accept pre-orders for future delivery. These sites look professional. They use official-looking logos. They steal images and videos from Maxwell's actual demonstrations, and they ask for deposits or full payment up front. I cannot stress this enough. These are scams, every single one of them. As of right now, there are 0 authorized resellers, 0 official distributors, and 0 legitimate third-party retailers selling the MSED. None. Zilch. If you send money to any of these sites, you will lose it. You won't receive a device, you won't get a refund, you'll just be out whatever you paid, and the scammers will disappear. Some of these fraudulent operations are incredibly sophisticated. They create entire fake company profiles. They set up customer service chat systems. They even send confirmation emails that look official. But it's all theater designed to separate you from your money, so please do not fall for it. The only legitimate way to inquire about the MSED is directly through Saith Technologies' official channels. That means their verified website and their registered corporate email address. Maxwell also maintains verified social media accounts, particularly on X, which is the platform formerly known as Twitter, and on LinkedIn. Any announcements about availability, partnerships, or future sales will come through those official channels first. Now, you might be wondering, does that mean I can just go to their website and order one? Not quite. Remember, we're still in the limited access phase. What you can do is submit an official inquiry through their contact page. This isn't a shopping cart checkout. It's more like expressing interest and providing information about why you want the device and how you intend to use it. When you fill out that inquiry form, be specific and genuine. Are you an individual interested in powering your home? Are you a researcher wanting to study the technology? Are you representing a business or institution that could benefit from off-grid power? The more detailed and legitimate your request, the better chance you have of getting a meaningful response. Saith Technologies uses these inquiries to build a database of interested parties and to prioritize access based on use case, location, and feasibility. They're not ignoring these requests, they're using them to shape their distribution strategy as they scale up production. Another pathway that exists, though it's more limited, is through official regional representatives in Southern Africa. In certain cases, these representatives coordinate institutional projects and pilot programs using the MSED. However, these are business-to-business arrangements, not retail sales to individuals. If someone approaches you claiming to be an official distributor for Saith Technologies, ask for documentation. Specifically, ask for paperwork signed by Saith Technologies' legal department. If they can't produce it, walk away immediately. Now, I know some of you are probably feeling frustrated right now. You came here hoping I'd give you a link where you could buy this device today, and instead, I'm telling you it's not that simple. I get it. But here's why this cautious approach actually matters, and why it's a good sign rather than a bad one. Maxwell Chikumbutso is trying to do something that's never been done before. He's not just selling another smartphone or home appliance. He's introducing a technology that fundamentally challenges how the entire world generates and consumes energy. If he rushed this to market without proper testing, certification, and infrastructure, the technology could fail publicly, and the dream would die before it ever had a chance to succeed. Think about what's at stake here. Every country has different electrical safety standards. Energy devices have to pass rigorous testing to ensure they won't cause fires, electrical shocks, or interference with other equipment. Beyond safety, there are also intellectual property concerns. Maxwell needs to protect his patents and prevent counterfeiters from flooding the market with cheap knockoffs that don't work and destroy the technology's reputation. That's why Saith Technologies is moving carefully and deliberately. They're working with regulatory agencies to get proper certifications. They're partnering with manufacturers who can maintain quality control. They're building a supply chain that can handle global demand when the time comes. All of this takes time, but it's necessary to ensure that when you finally can buy an MSED, it actually works as promised and comes with proper support. Industry insiders have been sharing some encouraging news recently. Sources close to the company suggest that Saith Technologies is currently in negotiations with manufacturers in Asia and Africa to begin producing components under strict supervision. This is the prelude to scaling up production for consumer release. The strategy appears to be launching first in African markets, where Saith Technologies has the strongest presence and where the need for off-grid power is most urgent. From there, distribution would gradually expand to other regions as certifications and logistics fall into place. Analysts who've been following this story closely predict that the first wave of consumer-ready MSED units could realistically appear sometime between 2026 and 2027. That timeline depends heavily on how quickly regulatory approvals come through in different countries, but it gives you a realistic timeframe to work with. So, what should you be doing right now while you wait? Let me give you a practical action plan. Step 1. Bookmark the official Saith Technologies website right now. Check back regularly for updates. Turn on notifications if they offer an email newsletter. Follow Maxwell Chikumbutso's verified social media profiles and turn on alerts so you see posts as soon as they go live. This is how you'll get accurate information first, directly from the source. Step 2. Educate yourself and stay skeptical. If you see news about the MSED on a random blog or social media post, verify it against official sources before believing it. There's a lot of misinformation floating around, both from scammers trying to exploit the hype and from well-meaning enthusiasts who accidentally spread rumors. Always cross-check information. Step 3. Join legitimate communities of people tracking this technology. There are genuine energy researchers, tech enthusiasts, and innovation watchers who discuss the MSED and share verified updates. These communities can be valuable sources of information and can help you spot scams before you fall for them. Just remember to think critically, even in these spaces. Not everyone online has accurate information, even if they believe they do. Step 4. If you represent a business, research institution, or organization that could genuinely benefit from this technology, don't hesitate to reach out through official channels. Partnership opportunities and pilot access might be available sooner than general consumer release. Universities studying renewable energy, NGOs working in off-grid communities, and businesses looking for sustainable power solutions might be able to get early access through official programs. And Step 5. Keep perspective. I know it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and want this device right now. But disruptive technologies almost always take longer to reach the market than our enthusiasm wants them to. The airplane didn't go from invention to commercial flights overnight. Personal computers didn't instantly appear in every home. Electric vehicles have been around for over a century, but they're only now becoming mainstream. Revolutionary technology follows a path, and that path includes testing, refinement, certification, and gradual rollout. The MSED is walking that same path. The difference is that this device could potentially change how the entire world powers itself, and that makes the wait worthwhile. Here's something else to consider. Even though you can't buy an MSED today, the fact that we're having this conversation at all is remarkable. 10 years ago, most people had never heard of Maxwell Chikumbutso. 5 years ago, the MSED was barely known outside of Zimbabwe. Today, people on every continent are searching for information about this technology. That shift represents progress. It means the technology has moved from obscurity toward legitimacy. It means we're getting closer. So when someone asks you, "Where can I buy the MSED?" you now have the real answer. You can't buy it at a retail store today. You can't order it on Amazon or any other online marketplace, but you can engage with the official pathway through Saith Technologies. You can register your interest. You can stay informed through verified channels. And you can prepare yourself to be among the first to access this technology when it does become publicly available. Because make no mistake, that day is coming. The question isn't if anymore, it's when. And when that moment arrives, when Saith Technologies opens the doors to consumer sales, it's going to be one of the most significant product launches in modern history. We're talking about a technology that could give people energy independence, that could bring electricity to communities that have never had reliable power, that could reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and massive power grids. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you never have to worry about power outages again. Imagine living in a remote area and finally having the same electrical access as someone in a major city. Imagine businesses in developing regions suddenly having the reliable power they need to grow and thrive. That's the potential Maxwell Chikumbutso is working toward. That's the vision driving Saith Technologies. And that's why the world is watching and waiting. Until that official launch happens, your best strategy is simple. Stay alert, stay informed, stay cautious. Don't let scammers take advantage of your enthusiasm. Don't trust random websites or social media posts claiming to sell this device. Stick to official sources. Be patient and be ready. Because when the MSED finally hits the market, when regular people can genuinely purchase one of these devices for their homes or businesses, it won't just be another product release. It'll be the beginning of a new era in how humanity generates and uses energy. It'll be proof that sustainable, continuous power isn't just a dream for some distant future. It's a reality that's already been demonstrated, and soon it'll be accessible to anyone who wants it. Maxwell Chikumbutso has spent years developing this technology, facing skepticism, dealing with people who said it was impossible, and working through countless challenges to bring his vision to life. The least we can do is give the process the time it needs to be done right. So here's my challenge to you. If you're genuinely interested in this technology, commit to doing it the right way. Bookmark the official website. Follow the verified social media accounts. Submit an inquiry if you have a legitimate use case. Join informed communities that track verified updates. And, most importantly, spread the word about avoiding scams so others don't get taken advantage of. Share this information with friends or family members who might have heard about the MSED and are searching for answers. Help build a community of informed, patient enthusiasts who will support this technology the right way when it finally becomes available. And if you found this video helpful, if it answered questions you've been searching for, do me a favor. Hit that like button so more people can find this information. Subscribe to the channel so you'll be here when we bring you updates as this story continues to develop. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and whether you plan to inquire about the MSED through official channels. I read every comment, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this technology and what it could mean for your part of the world. The future of energy is being written right now. It's happening in labs in Zimbabwe, in partnership meetings with manufacturers, and in regulatory offices where certifications are being processed. And soon, very soon, that future will be available to all of us. The question is, will you be ready when it arrives? Stay informed, stay smart, stay excited, because the revolution isn't coming. It's already here. It's just waiting for the right moment to change everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one when we continue following the most important energy story of our generation.